wrestling is like I became wrestling.
Yeah. Well,
I just came back from a GLCW show in Cedarburg, Wisconsin yesterday. They had a couple Impact guys that like I held back. He was like I want to say Syrian, like
Yeah.
dude. I think he's champ right now, or he's like a X Division champ. What's his name? I don't remember. I want to put him over, but
Yeah,
cool.
I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Something was there too. I don't know if he signed through Impact, but he was a beast.
Mm.
But
Sweet.
fun stuff. Who's your favorite AEW wrestler right now? Who should be champion?
Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy should be
Orange
champion.
Cassidy.
by far.
We think he's
Edgy.
gonna get his shot.
Orange Cassidy.
Is he like in line? Because I know they do
Yeah.
rankings there. They do stats, which I
Yep.
love.
This week it's
I love
him
it.
versus
Pac.
for then the winner gets to go fight Omega at the pay-per-view.
Yep.
So it's okay. Yeah. So Team Cassidy, I guess.
Yeah. You familiar with like what Omega's been doing lately?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Have you hear Andrade challenge him for the AAA Mega title?
Okay, so he's
Yeah.
gonna do like a Kurt Angle 10 years ago gimmick where he's just gonna accumulate all the belts and
Yeah.
come to the ring with 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he's got 4 right now. AEW, Impact,
Yeah, both the Impact ones.
both Impact heavyweight belts, and then the AAA.
Oh,
Mega.
closer to the mic.
So, oh,
It's necessary.
wait, no. Are we talking about? Oh boy. Hi.
Professional wrestling.
Professional wrestling.
I want to welcome you guys to the System Sunday Showcase. I am your host, The System. I don't know if you've seen my work, but to put it in 3 words, it's trust the system. That's what I'll end the interview with. I love the XLCR interview, which we'll put up eventually, but like I just schmoozed them the entire time for like an hour, and then I ended it with trust the system, and like 80% of them just like, no, I don't agree with that. Cut. Ended. But I promise you, this could be a very lucrative show for you guys. We love putting over the artists. We got a bunch of albums in the store here. If you ever come by Mall of America, got to check out Mark Joseph. He's on the show. We got his album in the store. Brother John Band, so humble. Also got his music in the band. New Defective, got to check out their showcase. Got graffiti on the artwork. Also a great album. And we got Project Constellation as well. These guys are coming back in a month, but let's not talk about them. We're gonna talk about the hero and the villain. I gotta do the Lazarus gimmick because you guys have a really good website set up, and you guys are gonna be releasing your self-titled debut album,
Yep.
June 4th, 2021, with a show at the Granada Theater in Minneapolis. I gotta ask, is that gonna be a formal? Like, is there a dress code for that?
We're gonna dress up, but I don't think you have to dress up.
If you show up with joggers, you're not gonna get kicked out.
Depends on who you are.
If I showed up in joggers, would you kick me out?
We might let you in.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Puts you above Cowboy Jags, that's for sure. I'm going to read the rest of this, though. Joining the hero and the villain for this grand occasion will be fellow singer-songwriter Celeste Yeats. Doors open, 7:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yes.
That's right. And the show kicks off at 8 p.m., so be there early. A portion of all ticket and album sales will be donated to the Pull the Nail In It Foundation. So even if you aren't able to come out and enjoy some amazing live music, strongly consider donating to a more than worthwhile cause. You want to? Can you tell us a little more about Put the Nail in It?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's a camera I can focus on, but you can see I've got the purple
you just need to
purple
talk
fingernail,
confidently.
the purple fingernail here, and it's to signify it's like taking a stand against domestic abuse. That's what the Put the Nail in It Foundation is. A lot of celebrities are, if you see them with that purple painted nail, that's what they're doing. That's
Gotcha.
what they're representing. So.
What solidified them as a spot for you? Well, what stood out for them in terms of what you like?
Honestly, pro wrestling. We go back to
Really?
that. I was watching a documentary about Mia Yim, she's in she's a WWE wrestler, but this was prior to that. She was independent, and she had a history of being in an abusive relationship, and I had no idea. I mean, you look at her, and she's jacked. Like, who would do that to her? And yeah, I just kind of got into the foundation from there.
Gotcha. So I like that. The hero and the villain. I was driving on the way over here, and I'm like, I was gonna ask him, you mean like the baby face and the heel? But he'd never get it. But now knowing that you know the no, Why not the baby face and the heel?
That would have been good. No, I chose the hero and the villain just because I'm a big comic book guy, so that's kind of where I was at. I've been reading the DC series, Dark Knight's Metal, Dark Knight's Death Metal, and it's essentially the main villain is the Batman who laughs, and he's a cross between Batman and the Joker. So I'm like, well, you've got the hero, you've got the villain, put two and two together, and that's kind of where I came up with the name.
Gotcha. So does this make your bandmates the in between, the anti-heroes? What do you do between these two binary? Oh,
I don't know. We're gonna have to have some long, spirited debates and discussions about it. I think.
it's the.
Oh boy.
We could go across the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the hero and the villain. See, that's something I got to come into contact. Sometimes they're gonna be like, what is the system? Is he a good guy or bad guy? And then it's a trick question really, because if I say, well, I'm a bad guy, everyone's like, well, it makes you a bad guy. But if I say I'm both, apparently I'm just being smart, right?
Exactly.
Just
That's
being
exactly
myself.
it. Yep. Everybody's got a little bit of both in them.
So did the band name come first, or did some songs come first?
I had like one song written, the first song we played, and it doesn't fit any of the other stuff I've written after that, but I knew I wanted to do a new project, and I think I came up with the band name first and just kind of went from there.
Gotcha. What do you want, Pico? You want me to address somebody else? Want me to address Rick? No, we'll address the in between. You guys should. This is your spotlight.
Oh boy.
What
There you go.
No
what made
pressure.
you want to become not just the hero, not just the villain? Actually, the way I'm looking at you two, like you're dressed in all white and you're all black. I feel like that's the angel and devil on your shoulders.
Yep.
Like,
That may
Yep.
have been on
Yeah.
purpose.
so it's time. So we'll start with the angel. Wait, no, we'll start with the devil because we're optimistic. We'll start.
Okay. Yes. What would you like to know?
Your name, your instrument,
Oh,
your
my
favorite
name
color,
is
your
Lucas.
astrological sign.
I'm a Cancer. I like blue and black. I play
Musical
bass.
inspirations.
Inspirations. I don't know. I kind of play everything. I'm in 8-piece funk band. I'm in
Nice.
this band, which is kind of a singer-songwriter acoustic. I'm also in a symphonic power metal band.
Gotcha. How do you network? You assume you're Minnesota based?
St. Cloud, yes.
St. Cloud?
Yep,
Cool.
we are from St. Cloud.
You go through like jams, you got a musical background, or how?
I've been playing bass for 20 plus years, so I just kind of show up, and eventually somebody needs a bass player, and ta-da, here I am.
I think
That's actually terribly accurate.
That is very accurate.
Peek, I'm sure you can attest to that. She's doing it. See, she doesn't talk, but like she's in like 50 bands as a bass player as well.
Oh,
so
nice.
I totally understand. How about you, keyboardist, angel on the shoulder lady?
Well, my name is Elena. I've been playing keyboard in bands for about 15 years now. So I've been in several groups with Lucas and very musical family. So that's kind of where it started. As soon as I could walk or shake a maraca, that's what I was doing.
So how many bands are you in?
Currently, I'm just supporting this project right now.
Really?
Yep. Although we do play with my family band somewhat frequently,
Okay.
depending on family events and other things.
That's really special. 'Cause, family is like a really easy, like support system to get out and get playing.
Yeah.
I hone in on that like every single podcast as we have musicians coming in every week. There's musicians watching right now. Some aspiring musicians, at zero, trying to get something out of this. And I feel like that's a huge part of getting to the next step. Is there's number one, coming to Prince Music Company, buying a nice guitar. But the second step is once you got some music or a song on paper, networking, getting out, going to a jam, going somewhere like that, and being someone who's done it for 20 years, doing it for a while, that it can be just as simple as I like playing music. I show up. How did you get, especially when first starting out, how did you fall in through the repetitions that made you better as a musician?
For me, my repetitions was I had a CD that I liked, whatever it happened to be at the time, and I learned the entire CD from front to back. And then we started I'd find a couple of guys who, I kind of play guitar, I kind of play drums. I'm like, well, you want to jam sometime? And just kind of had fun up through high school. And then once I graduated, I had more free time and started playing seriously in bands.
Mm.
So, yeah, just play. That's, if I have one piece of advice for anybody, it's just play.
I like it. How about you?
I kind of fell into music, it was kind of by force, to be honest. It was freshman year of high school, and my best friend at the time had just gotten a guitar, and he looked at me and he's like, dude, you should get a bass. And I had never had any inclination to play any instrument whatsoever. So I started with the bass, and then kind of played that, didn't really do anything with it. And then I kind of found out I could carry a tune a little bit and sing. I'd never tried singing or anything like that. Figured that out on the tail end of high school, and then just started up the garage band and been going ever since.
I like it. Was it how do you fall into singing? Was it like a talent show? Did you get put on the spot by some friends?
I think it was, again, my cousin was a real good guitarist at the time, and he was, just playing guitar. And I'm like, you know what? I bet I could sing. And the first song I tried to sing was the Immigrant Song, Zeppelin.
Of course.
And, so I started singing in like my falsetto, and I'm like, oh, I can kind of hold those notes. It sounded terrible, like looking back. I'm sure it did, but I mean, it got me here, and it worked out.
Gotcha. So now this has escalated to you coming out with a second project, June 4th.
Yep.
June 4th coming out. Talk to me about that first project, your first few pieces of original content. I only have 4 singles out. I'm just releasing them out like singles at a time. But what I'm starting to look back on is every single song. I take a look back at it and I'm like, I think I learned something big from after releasing each one. I'd love it if you could. What was your first couple songs? Was it all one album, or did you do a couple?
Well, I've done a few albums over the years. The last big project, and Lucas was a part of that, was called Raspberry Eyes. Once again, started acoustic and then kind of got fleshed out. But yeah, looking back and just, I mean, there's a few songs that still hold up. Like I'll still bust a few out here and there. But
they're all great. You got to listen to them.
Yeah, some of them are great to listen to, and some of them are really funny to listen to. But yeah, just the whole music process it's fun, and it's cool that you can look back and like see like where you started, especially if you're recording everything and knowing how bad it was, but then people still loved it for some reason, and then kind of progressing from there.
Gotcha. So it sounds like at a high level, watching your whole first album, it comes down to mixing. Is there any other like? Certainly after like looking at my third and my fourth one, it's the last one I released, I was like, I want to get more people involved. Versus like my third one, which is I paid a lot of money for this project and it was a great project. Now I got to figure out something else to do. But also I have no money.
Right.
Do you get specific like that off of each song you release, or is it too many to count at this point?
It's getting to the too many to count point. But I know with this project especially, I mean, it was just going to be me, singer-songwriter, acoustic. Then I started just sending him some tracks, like just to get some feedback. And he started putting some bass down on them, and had no inclination to even put keys on it. But now that we have, like, some of the songs, they took on a whole different level, and it's been a lot more fun that way for sure.
So you guys are just collaborating through email, text, putting together what you like?
Yeah, whenever they can come over. I've got my little makeshift studio at my apartment.
Gotcha.
That's where my money goes, I guess.
You love it.
Yeah, so we show up and throw out some ideas and see what sticks. Laugh over the ones that don't.
And that's the content creation process right there, chilling at your studio.
Yep, whatever happens.
Everything that's on this new project coming out, molded together. Put together in the studio at your place?
Yep, all self-produced. Yep.
Yeah, and if you listen very carefully, you can hear his cat in the background.
Special guest, Barry.
Okay, all right. She's getting royalties off this too.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want to go back to talking about wrestling. Because you guys, I was so taken back by that. You guys watch AEW every week. You got to catch me up. I was asking you guys who you thought should be champion, and you said Orange Cassidy.
Absolutely.
And so that establishes your credibility as a fan right there. How about you? Who do you think is the most underrated AEW star today?
Underrated?
Underrated. Who should be champion?
Who should be champion? Obviously, it's Orange Cassidy. Underrated. The Acclaimed are great.
I'm sorry.
The Acclaimed.
Oh, the
Yes,
Acclaimed.
Max
Yeah.
Caster.
The Acclaimed.
Yep.
They're wonderful.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, he's the guy that freestyles
Yep.
on the way
Yes.
out to the ring.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
I like it. Yeah, I like him. I like his little speakers.
Yep.
How about you? Are you roped into wrestling through these two, or you?
I think that I am unwillingly involved.
Can you name an
classic.
AEW wrestler?
I can
That's
name
not Orange
wrestlers
Cassidy.
where they're affiliated. I cannot tell you. I could watch a couple of matches, and then usually I switch to reading, which is quite pleasant, and then just, interjecting my commentary on costumes and effects.
But well, there's a lot you can pull from pro wrestling to performing. In terms of hero and the villain, babyface and the heel, where do you kind of how do you want to be booked, or how would you like to be booked ideally going into the second half of 2021?
Like if we're looking at one side or the other? Is that what
Oh
you're-
shoot! I
that-
mean, that's one way to take it. I was thinking, just musically, career-wise. What kind of venues do you want to be doing? What do you want to be known for? What is your mission statement or your values? What's the most important thing that
Alright.
you're aiming at?
Well, I can kind of mold that in there a little bit then.
2021?
No, charity to me is huge. That's a huge part of who I always wanted to be as a musician. Because I do it for fun. Like I'm not looking to make a career out of it. If something happens, would I be upset by it? Absolutely not. But for right now, at least, I'm doing all right financially. And my job's good. I can do this on the side, and if I can give back, then that's what I want to do. That's what I've always wanted to do. So I know for this album, I'm basically paying for it out of pocket. I'm gonna take enough back to make another batch of albums if we sell these ones, and then pretty much the rest I'm just gonna give away. So that's if it's a mission statement, that's what it would be for me for sure.
You got me thinking about the first way you wanted to answer the question, whereas hero versus villain. Because I thought at a high level, where's the conflict if you're both? But I guess it can come out in the storytelling through your songs. Is that kind of the idea behind that piece?
Yeah, I would say song-wise, especially for this album, it's a little
Two
more
parts of your brain battling.
little more villain than a hero for sure. And you can kind of tell that in some of the songs. They get real dark, deep. Honestly, like the last year of life has been that way. That's kind of how I wrote the project. I'm coming out onto the hero end, I guess. So maybe the next album would be a little more hero centric. But yeah, if we're looking at it like face and heel, you always want to be the heel. Like for me, I would always want to be the heel. So I'm a little conflicted there with the whole charity, the heel who gives to charity, I guess.
Oh, I get it.
So
I get it. Well, I couldn't understand. I could never be the heel. I'm the biggest baby face around these parts. Tell me about your content creation visually, your media, your music videos, anything of that source that is on your plate, a to-do, or are you mostly trying to pump out another album? Where your priorities lie?
I'd say it's more just the music and the recordings. Like we just want to get out, we want to play. But I would be lying if I wouldn't say that we wouldn't constantly come up with music video ideas. Usually I'll stop us recording and be like, oh, I've got this idea for this music video. Will they ever happen? I don't know. I don't know who would produce them or how we would make them happen.
Well,
They're terribly epic.
yeah, a lot of them are like, someone has to fund this, but they can't know it's happening because if they do, they're not going to fund it.
But it would be
It's
super
like-
awesome.
Like a shark with maracas on the beach. Like, no. Mm-mm.
So we need to get like a Tony Khan. Like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
guy who just loves stuff.
Person who loves content.
yes.
You ever experiment with, I guess, outsourcing, like through Fiverr or Craigslist, or there are rolls of the dice to try and find video editors, things of that nature. You guys ever try it?
We haven't, but
You tried
Yeah,
it?
We
I
know
mean-
people.
I did go to school for television production,
Oh,
so I
what
can.
you're saying is you might know someone who can
I
make
know.
a music.
I know a guy.
What are your favorite tropes in TV, and you could honestly make it wrestling too if you want. But what are your favorite archetypes of story? Seeing how you're playing both the hero and the villain, you got to know all the
Yeah.
stories.
I guess if I would have to go back to wrestling because I mean that's essentially all I watch nowadays.
Watch pro wrestling.
No, I would say one. I mean, it's tough to watch the WWE sometimes. It's very repetitive, but I've always been a huge fan of Randy Orton's work. I think if you had to pick somebody who could be the hero and the villain all at the same time, I think it might be him. I know he plays a lot more heel than anything, but I mean, right now he's teamed up with the guy, and he's still being Randy Orton. He's still being that bad guy, but you like him a little bit. You like him enough where you could root for him as that hero, that anti-hero almost.
Yeah, Randy Orton is just so rare where he's been in the business for 15, 20-ish years, and he's I don't know if he's 40 yet, but he's, still at the age where he can be the champion, even though he was low-key champion 15 years ago as well. So it's just what a legacy, what a career. Talk to me more about how WWE has become stale.
Hot takes.
Well, I mean,
these are authentic fans. You didn't. You did. I had no clue they were wrestling fans, but this is market knowledge for anybody watching.
This is what we talk about. It's either me texting him about music stuff or telling him which matches to watch or not watch, or how bad Raw is for the night.
Dude, you got to check this out. It's so bad.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, well, it's being someone behind the curtain, and it's a little different for indie wrestling. But at a certain point, there's needing to know that some people are coming to this event who've never seen wrestling before. Like they don't even know the concept of what's about to happen, and it's a hard balance because there's a lot of that. But then there's also the bedrock of fans that do watch every single week. Which now I'm talking about televised weekly episodic content where people actually are following the stories and, well, they want something to be there, but sometimes I feel like behind the curtain there is a certain people don't know what's going on anyways. Just pretend that like they don't carry anything forward. So hence you can face the same guy 4 weeks in a row and you can get away with it because you believe 80% of everyone in the crowd hasn't seen it last week before anyways.
That's true.
Kind of a chicken and the egg situation where it's how often do you want people to watch? How often do you need to keep leaving these crumbs to get the story along? So I remember when I was watching Raw back in the days, if anything were to happen, hopefully it happened on Raw. Hopefully give me something once a week. And then I'd still watch SmackDown the same week anyway because I love wrestling and I had nothing else to do. But, you'd get your matches, but there would be no real, something there they'd play over and over, like something needed to happen. Yeah. And I'm talking, I guess, recently within the last 10 years. Would you say, because I have been out for the last 2 or 3 years, watching weekly over the past couple of years, would you say that's gotten worse, better, or what do you think what kind of crumbs do you need left? What kind of frequency do you need? What is all you need to be happy? What are you asking for? What are you pleading for?
I don't know. I think, honestly, the pandemic kind of kicked WWE in the pants a little harder than anybody else because they were so reliant on crowd reaction to figure out if their stories were good or not. And so, for the past 14 months, they've had no real direction on what's working or not.
I think that's why a show like AEW is working right now.
Well, they're going without fans too, correct? Or
They are, but they're outside the box. They're kind of on the other end of things. Like, let's progress storylines. Let's make things different every week. New opponents, new matches, because we want to see these wrestlers who haven't ever fought each other on live TV type of stuff. And then I really love they've got their 2 YouTube shows. Which
I was gonna mention that too. The Being the Elite and the AEW content, their dark content, everything like that. Would you call that overstimulating? Because I feel like there's different storylines progressing along both. I'm speaking in particular to when they first started doing pay-per-views and everything. maybe just me being ignorant, I was like, oh man, I really don't know anything about these guys. I don't know what the stories are going on. And it really just took me a minute to hit once the pay-per-view hit. Like, oh, it's just what they were doing on Being the Elite. Like, they actually did. I just didn't connect. Because WWE wouldn't have done something like that, like a YouTube show, and then carrying that story over to pay-per-view. You feel like that's the wave, or is there any overstimulation there?
No, I think the way they do it with like Dark and Elevation, it's a lot more just wrestling. Like there's a few little storyline things in there. They kind of tell you what's going on with each wrestler as they're wrestling, but it's quick little matches for the most part. You've got a little jobber action in there sometimes too, some squash matches, but you get that, like, you get the athletic wrestling content.
Hey, it's a competition in there.
Yes. Yes, exactly. But yeah,
unless they're facing me, then it is a squash match.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, you get that wrestling aspect on the YouTube shows, but then you get a little more storyline on the weekly Wednesday night affair. So you're not it's not too hard to follow, but it's enough to where it's fun to watch everybody.
Yeah, tell me more about that. How much wrestling do you want to see versus how much talking and story progression?
Yeah, I'm big into the actual match itself. Like, the most annoying thing in the world to me is how they have to do like picture in picture or cut to commercials in the middle of a match, and they just like take you out of it, and then they pop back in, and you just have to assume that what happened is what happened, even though they could have just been sitting in the ring, talking until the commercial was over. But yeah, so athletics for me is the big draw.
Okay. Well, I want to bring that over to you too, because you said you watch New Japan, and they do frequently less camera cuts. It's a lot more stagnant, a lot more focused.
Yes.
And I guess bringing that over to what you watch every week in your AEW, your WWE, your North American promotions, do you think that could work, or is, because I feel like there's you're competing with the what's it called? Your attention span. That's the word.
Yes.
That's
So,
right.
New Japan is a lot less sports entertainment versus traditional pro wrestling. They hit hard. Not quite as much.
I want to ask a question that may have already been answered, but I feel like it's a better way of saying it. What does wrestling need right now?
Fans.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
Yeah, I mean, New Japan has had fans back since January, and it's so much more enjoyable to watch. AEW has most of their roster, if they're not, standing in gorilla waiting to come out or in the ring, out watching the matches. So you get a little bit of that interaction, and the Thunderdome with WWE is not my cup of tea at all.
Well, once you realize they're piping in like the
Yes.
fan noise, and you see everybody like cheering on the screens, but it's just this chorus of boos, you get real confused sometimes. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
am I supposed to like them or not like them?
Hey Rick, why don't you come over here for a minute? What's your take on what professional wrestling needs today?
Let me get a microphone.
I can't believe I just allowed him to butt in here.
That was
You
very
got
nice
you got
of you.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Professional wrestling. What professional wrestling needs right now today?
Oh.
Okay. Scoot over. Scoot over.
right here.
Rick, come on.
You go.
Anyway,
The suspense.
professional wrestling. What professional wrestling needs today? Well, first of all, it needs the system. Because this guy here, man, I just love heckling him, man. It wouldn't be the same if I went to a show and he wasn't there for me to dish out some grief to. I love him, man. I mean, we're really good friends, honestly. But
Oh, wow.
No, I'm such a good guy. I'm the
yeah.
So have you guys checked out any independent wrestling on the scene?
It's harder to access.
It is.
And especially now with like the whole pandemic and stuff, you can't really
Oh yeah.
go to a local show because they're closed to people.
Not for long.
Yes, I know. Exciting.
If you guys are open to going to shows, I'll make sure we get Rick in contact with some of these
definitely.
MAW shows coming up.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. You guys want to go to a show?
Would love to.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm a major sponsor for MAW, so
Nice.
all I have to do is just say, hey, so and so, I got a couple people I'm bringing with, man. Give me a couple extra seats.
I was gonna say, growing up, it was always my actual dream to be a pro wrestler.
Really?
Like from second grade, I said it. Like I have it in writing somewhere, and then all the way up through like senior year, and I don't know. I just never followed through, and I regret it.
Well, you
I
never
regret
know.
it.
You never
Right?
know.
Hey, there's
We just might get you in the ring, bro.
That's the
schools.
dream.
I just might get you in the ring. I would love to see you get
talking to the
tossed
right guy.
around.
Yes.
We were joking around during WrestleMania about how Bad Bunny has 8 billion streams on Spotify. How many streams would it take us to get into Impact? You know, 10,000. No offense to Impact or anything, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll get Heavy Metal Lord to come into the ring with you. He'll toss you around like a rag doll for
Oh
sure.
boy.
Or what's that guy you going up against here before too long? Spider or
Spider.
I can't remember his name, man. I can pull up the picture.
They got a picture of me up somewhere?
Look, I'll show you.
Oh, me and my boy X.
Oh, okay.
No, we're a tag team now. I think we've.
Oh, you guys are a tag team now. Damn.
Yeah, I think we shored up our differences.
I was kind of hoping to see him chuck you around a little bit more.
People kind of realize they can't beat the system, so they got to join the system.
Ooh, I like that.
Speaking of which, I am tag team champion of the world with MAW in an exclusive management role.
Yeah.
Yet to be announced, but when they run some great shows. They have 4 coming up. They got Grand Slam 3. Date isn't announced. They do have Kurt Angle on the show. He will be there. System will be there.
And I can't wait because I can tell you, I know what band. They're going to have a band there too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're also running the
Intermission
Civic
band.
Center later this year in Rochester. That's going to have Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner.
Steiner math.
Yes.
Our earliest date is going to be at Isle Days. I forget the city. We're running 4 events so far, but they're good events. We'll slide in your DMs. Make sure you're at one of them.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no doubt.
Absolutely.
And I know the band that's going to be there. they're a really good band.
Nice.
So before you guys have been great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are baby faces in my heart.
It was excellent.
Before we end with your content coming out on June 4th, you say your mission statement. Making music. If there's any energy, any power that people watching, anyone that wants to give you something, you want that to go towards a charity, going towards domestic abuse, things like that.
Yep.
How can you get more narrow in if that's your goal? What kind of content you got to put out? What kind of things are you going to try to accomplish to make that a reality over the course of the next few years?
I think we just have to get out and play. I mean, things are starting to open up. Like, that's pretty exciting. I felt like we're kind of releasing this album just as things are going to start to normalize, which is going to be really helpful. And people are going to be just clamoring for live music. Like, it's been so long, so why wouldn't you go out and see some bands?
Yeah. If you guys are doing something for a worthy cause like that, like
Yep.
domestic abuse and something, by all means, I'm in.
Awesome.
I'm in. I'll do whatever I can to help you guys out. I just did a fundraiser for my birthday, which was May 1st, and it was for the suicide hotline.
Sweet.
I'm in with you guys. I'm gonna get out of the way
Fantastic.
here.
Okay.
Thank you, Rick. One last question. I heard it from you. It's a great high level. Just play. How do you get someone to just play?
Get an instrument.
From where?
Prince Music Factory?
Oh, there it is.
Company?
Oh, the
Company.
Prince Music Factory. Oh, and also
Sorry.
we got a new location, the Mall of America. So, what's your guys' favorite place in the Mall of America outside of our place, of course? What's your favorite spot?
Box
Sea
lunch.
life?
Shoe store.
Shoe store.
Yeah. DSW for her. I love
store.
box lunch.
Box lunch.
Yeah, just all the
Where
nerdy
they at?
stuff.
Yep, first
First floor?
Yep.
First
yeah.
floor.
Yeah. Right across from Hot
They make
Topic.
box lunches.
No, it's like all like different Disney, different anime,
all your
whole
fandoms.
bunch of
Licensed
nerdy
merch.
stuff.
All the
Yeah.
fandoms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
You can get like button-up avatar shirts, stuff like that. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Beautiful. June 4th, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Where is it? Where is that place again?
Granada, it's in Minneapolis.
Granada in Minneapolis.
Yep.
You got to be there. Also, we're going to need something like this from you guys. Once it's out, we'll sell it in the stores.
Sweet.
You guys have been awesome. Until next time, we'll see you guys at shows too, hopefully. Hopefully. But we'll see you guys next time. And as always,